recording now.
Okay. So here's what I've found out, and I am 99% sure this is going to happen because I've checked the banks, I've double checked the feds, I've checked every system there is to check to see that this is truth, and this is truth. So I'm coming on here today to tell you exactly what Dave Hodges told me a few days ago. Kathy, protect you and your family and do it now. Don't worry about anything else in this world right now. Get ready for what's coming next week. And that is the fact that, first of all, April 20 is Hitler's birthday. April 20 is also a ritual, a horrible ritual that is done every year. I do not have the name of the ritual. I wish I did. But it's done from the 19th at night, 12 to 3, to the 20th in the morning. And it's a ritual for the Queen and her whole family. So this ritual this year requires much, much, much blood. And what they're doing in this ritual is they are using our satellites. We are no longer able to see our satellites. Our satellites are hidden from us by NASA. But they are using the satellites to ping different areas, and this came from an insider at NASA, so please, I'm telling you the truth. They are pinging different areas all over the world, both deep and shallow, and they are using the satellites to do this in order to set off the tectonic plates worldwide and cause slippage everywhere. Their ultimate goal is the lives of as many as they can take. And of course, we saw what they did with Japan. Now, Japan gave a message to Obama last week. And that message was that he had 3 days to accept the position of the gold that they wanted to give us to bring us out of debt. And Obama turned it down. He did not accept it because that would have given Japan much more power and authority over us in the world than it would have anybody else. So he turned it down. They told him if he turned it down, that 53 countries by the end of this last week would definitely walk out and would not use the dollar anymore. And by Tuesday, 193 countries will not be using the dollar anymore. They are going to take the dollar down. That's why all these emergency meetings have been taking place, and there are many more scheduled yet, because they're trying to figure out what can they do to stop this from happening. In the same time, they're trying to bring about World War III because they know that's where their money is. They also know that World War III will be part of the ritual that will give them the blood they need for this next ritual that they're doing. So if you think about how many lives have been lost, maybe not yet today, but within 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 10 weeks, and more from the radiation that has been released in Japan into the ocean, we are all going to die. And that is what they want. Now, they're still pinging these satellites. They're still pinging these earthquakes. This is all man-made. This is why a lot of your people that work with HAARP could see the HAARP signatures, but they didn't understand them because they're using the HARP signatures from above in the satellites instead of using the HARP on the ground. Unfortunately, they think that we're so stupid we can't figure things out. But we do figure them out. And they've created every kind of thing to go wrong around us to get our eyes off of all these other main things. Remember, I've always said, if you've got a lot of things going on around you, look for the distraction in the center, because they're trying to hide something that's very, very important, and it's usually always about the money. On Tuesday, 193 countries will no longer be using the dollar. By next Friday, and I think that's actually the 21st, this ritual will be in full swing, and I think everything else is going to go into full swing too. I've always said, Michael, they're going to hit us from all sides at one time. When it comes, it will be on all sides at one time. And that's what they're doing. They have moved all the caskets. All the FEMA caskets have been moved into the center, mid-upstate region, like Kentucky, Ohio, down in that area. And that was given to me the other day too. That's where all the caskets are going. So that tells me Madrid fault line, Creighton, or the Creighton line actually itself that goes all the way around the United States. We're actually kind of at the same position that I'm in with my mother. That you can't help her, I can't help her, and she can't help me. That's where we're at now, and the Christian world is in the same position. I can't help you in your salvation and your walk with Christ. I can only be there for you. And the Bible says we have to work out our own salvation. And that's where we're at now. Am I telling you to run for the hills? Well, if you have a hill to run to, yep. If you don't have a hill to run to, then get ready right where you're at. Bloom where you're planted. Get ready where you're at. I mean, I'm trying to do that here with what little I can do to move around. But these are the things that are here now before us. These are the things we need to confront, not with fear, but in total confidence that God is going to take us through this. And these snakes are going to answer one day. They sure are. Now, the person who's saying fear porn hustler, do your research or go to another room, something. Because I have done my research.
Yep.
And I'm worried about every one of you in here. Otherwise, just find a different place to go play your stupid game.
Yep.
And those of you who are interested and want to call and talk to me, Mike can set that up for you. And I'll try to stay on for an hour here. And let's get some good dialogue going, some good ideas going. Let's help each other get through this.
Let me pull that up.
Yeah.
Natural earthquakes, by the way, come from the sun.
Yeah, well, this isn't coming from the sun.
Right. This isn't a natural earthquake.
No.
And if he'd done his research, he'd find out that that's pretty much what the fracking is being done for, is to loosen things up so that when they do create the man-made earthquake, everything will just go freely.
Well, they've been working at this a long, long time, and they've made a lot of secret trips up there that we don't know what they're doing with that one plane 37 something or other there that stays up there for a year at a time. So, these things are being done behind our back. they're being done with the sanction of the government. If the government's sanctioning, it can't be good. But it's easier for us to come in a chat room and knock everybody in the head and call them names and do whatever. You get paid to do there anyway. And take our mind off the game. It's not taking my mind off the game. It's putting my mind on the game stronger.
Yep.
Because God put me in charge of whoever is here. He put me here for a reason. And I will do whatever I can to help whoever I can until we can't anymore.
Yep. Give me a second. I'm going to call that in real quick.
Okay, all right. X-planes, that's right. That's what I was trying to think. X-37 something.
This service is provided.
We are.
Yep.
So if you guys want
Please enter your access code followed by the pound.
Oops.
This menu will repeat.
Oops. Hang on.
Please enter your access code followed by the pound. This menu will repeat.
That's what I am doing.
You exceeded number of attempts. Please contact customer service if you need assistance. Goodbye.
Okay, let me, I'll call it back in. Something went wrong there.
Yeah, it did.
This service is provided in high definition by freeconferencecallhd.com. Please enter your access code followed by the pound. This
What?
menu will repeat.
Yeah, it's
Please
not,
enter your access code followed by the pound. This menu will
for
repeat.
some reason it won't let me, do it.
Okay.
So I guess there goes that idea. I'm
Please enter
trying
your
it.
access code followed by the pound. This
Yeah.
menu will repeat.
Yeah, it's not letting me do it. It's not recognizing it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You exceeded number of attempts. Please contact
Well-
customer service if you need.
What's
You can
that?
still pull them in by Skype, can't you?
Well, the problem is I can't connect to the call or to the right board.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't know why it's doing that because I've never had it do that before.
well, couldn't be the announcement, could it?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never had to do that before at all.
Well, anyway, we're going to continue on with this. I know that many of you know exactly what's going on, and it would be good to have really good dialogue going on about this tonight and figure out things that we can do for each other or just in general around me, like I was just talking with Mike about. I want to try to identify people in my area that will work within security, and I get some radios going here, and I don't know about those things, so I need someone to help me set all that up. And we need to get these guys trained in these radios. It's a little late, but we'll just keep trying to do it and see what happens. We kind of always push to the end, don't we? We think we've got lots of time left, and we don't. You know, the other video I sent you over, Mike, was with Gavin Simon. He put out a video a little while ago today about Ammon Bundy. And Ammon Bundy was transferred from Oregon to Nevada. And after he was made the transfer, he wasn't allowed to use the bathroom. He wasn't allowed to come out of his cell. He wasn't allowed to eat for 2 days, and his stomach was starting to, what we call, eat itself up in the medical field. And so he was getting the pains from that, and he was crying out to God for help and asking God to perform a miracle, something that could help him get out of that cell and get some food in him. And he had those shackle things on, and he was shaking those to get the attention of the guard in the prison. And a guard came and said, well, the kitchen's closed. And he'd already been in his same clothes that he wasn't allowed to go to the bathroom for 2 days. And he was asking for them to get him some food and help him to get his clothes changed. So that guard kind of went away, and Ammon kept praying. And pretty soon that guard came back, and he took him to see his brother Mel. And that helped Ammon get through. That was a big miracle that God did right there. I think that we are in situations, I see it in me right now. God has just got us in particular situations right now where we can only depend on God. We don't have anybody else to depend on. You know, when I came out of the hospital, my mom was bringing me food. She was doing what had to be done here to help me out, and now she's down and I can't help her. And I think that God is allowing this for all of us to really and truly take a look at what it means to trust in Him 100%. Because that's where we're going to come to in this next week, 100%.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah. I see that Pete was on that call last night. I did listen to that call, by the way. Very good show that was done last night. And I am hoping if we get to continue on air, I want to get a hold of that Michelle, whatever her last name is there, and get her on. But I don't know if they're going to allow us to continue on air much longer either.
Right.
Or what they'll allow us to do and say, you know, that'll be the other thing. They're going to try to limit all of that. You were saying to me today, Mike, that the bikers are on their way to D.C.?
Well, yeah, that's what the cab driver was saying yesterday while they were standing on there was a few men standing on the overpass. They had, the whole overpass was lined with Don't Tread on Me flags and the American flag.
Yeah. Well, I want to say to the bikers, we love you. We're standing behind you. And whatever you can do for this nation, we're asking you to do it. I want to say that to the truckers. I want to say that to the military, to the veterans, to the Indians, to the students that are out there trying to do what they can today. Even though it appears to us that maybe things aren't the way we think it should be, I want to say thank you to all of you, because it's time to stand up. We cannot any longer sit down. And if we continue to sit down, we might find out we're going to be laying down 6 feet under.
Yep.
So whatever we can do at this point, you guys just tell us. Just call in, tell Mike what you need us to do. We're going to find a way to do it. Even if it's just prayer, you got that. We will be praying for you all the way down, all the way back. Yeah, we really, 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 truly need to get behind these guys. We need to stand up. You know, the only way that you ever win a battle is you got to cut the head of the snake off. That's what's got to happen. And I don't think that's too far from being done. I think that's being done behind the scenes by all the warnings that Obama's getting from everybody else. And he certainly is getting warned from Putin on a regular basis now. Not that I agree with Putin either. I don't. I think Putin's part of the game.
Well, yeah, I do, but I think there's a power struggle going on.
Yeah, there is right now. And remember the when I read that prophecy God gave me, but called Let My People Go. And he said in that prophecy that he was going to lift the hand of protection off of those guys, and they would now begin to eat each other alive. And that's pretty much what's happening.
Yep.
There's a lot of fighting going on in that White House, I'll tell you.
I think it's I think some of the top people and what's going on are mainly like the big international bank owners and huge corporation owners. And I think that our governments, and when I say our governments, I mean the Russian government, the U.S. government, all these governments were promised, streets paved in gold, so to speak. And I think I think somehow they found out that they're not in the club. And
really,
I have a feeling that's what's going on, and that's why there's so much resistance. The only government that I see that's not resisting is the U.S. government, and for some reason, I guess the U.S. government thinks that they've already got their street paved in gold. And they don't. They're not in the club either. The only ones that are in the club are these ultra rich, these international bank owners and international corporation owners, and they don't care about anybody. They don't care about our government or Russia's government or anybody. They just care about themselves. And I think they've got their agenda moved forward enough that they no longer need the governments to help because they've already got everything already implemented, everything's in place. And so, I think that's a lot of what's going on. And I think the U.S. government is the only one that's still in support of it. And that's why our government's catching all the backlash from all these other countries.
I don't know. I do know that the banks are being trained right now. And Mary Greeley put out a video today, which I sent you here. And so the first bank that she talks about is, now I'm going to forget the name of it. Let's see if I can see it on here. It's one of the bigger ones. Anyway, they're training all of their tellers and their people how to react in an emergency situation, because what they're being told is that when the money system goes down next week, your ATMs will not work, and you will not be able to go to the bank and just take out what money you want to take out. And that was what that executive order was all about a few weeks ago that Obama made sure got signed some more. So they're training these guys how to handle emergency situation. Saudi Arabia is threatening the United States right now, and they're saying if we don't do what they're telling us to do, they're going to crash the dollar. And they have the ability to do that. And then I sent you over a video on the Federal Reserve statistical release factors. Why did our government go to the Federal Reserve? Because they could step out of the fight. Yeah, that's what they're talking about as a bank holiday. Yep. And this girl here in this bank, she's saying, I don't even know what a bank holiday is. Well, they're being told now what a bank holiday is. And so we don't know when they're going to declare that, if they're going to declare it, but they've been using it on us for a while. And so I'm going to go down tomorrow. As soon as the bank opens, I'm taking all my money out. That's it. Not leaving them anything in there. And that will give us about a one-day window before we have to see what comes next. And I'm not afraid to tell any of you to do that. I mean, in the hospital, the nurses were listening to some of the vids that I was trying to learn from, and one nurse in particular came up to me and she said, "What can we do if for those of us that have a lot of money invested?" And I said, "Sell it off and buy gold." That's it. I mean, God has been clear with us in the Word. He has always told us to turn to the precious metals, that's what would carry us through. And so that's kind of where I turned a while back, and every month I make sure that I am taking care of that part. So at least if I die, my kids can bury me and they won't get stuck with that bill. And that's more what I'm concerned about, is to be a burden to my kids of any kind. I don't want to be that. And it's going to be hard on our kids, you know. They're going to need us to back them up in their decisions, moms and dads. Even though we've been there, we think it should be one way. It's their world now, and we have to back them up in what they're going to do, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That's all we can do. Can you eat gold? No, you can't eat gold. And so the best thing to do is get the food first and the water. Get your medical supplies, and then if you have extra, then get your gold or silver, whatever. I was listening today to Dr. John Waterman this morning, and his reports that were coming out from the WebBot, and everything that WebBot said in January has happened already. And now the WebBot has a new report coming out, I think tomorrow, and it will tell us what's coming next. I know from part of what they were saying today, by living here in Minnesota, I know what they're saying is true, because the WebBot report says that we have a mini ice age beginning, and that in this mini ice age, the people that are north are going to be in the heat so extreme this year, we won't know what to do. And our electricity will go down, and we won't be able to handle the electric currents that's needed for air conditioning or things like that. So we'll see many old people probably leave this earth because they can't take the heat. Right now in Minnesota should be, 50s, 40s at night. It's 77, 80. It's very hot here. They also said that during that time when you go through those ice ages, the sun becomes so hot that it will literally burn your eyeballs. Many people will go blind. So make sure you got the right sunglasses and the right UV rays and all that. And make sure that you go to every avenue and research out what we show you tonight. Because I've got the videos down here, and as I leave, Mike can show you all the videos that I've been putting together for the last week at least, of the research that I've done. And then you take it from there and you research it out further, but do it tonight, so you don't have a lot of time. Is it frightening? Only if you let it be. Fear only comes if you let fear be there. Me, I have full authority in Jesus Christ. I'm not afraid of none of this. Let's take it day by day and you get through it. We knew it was coming. I mean, they weren't being shy about letting us know it was coming. That's for sure. So I don't ask anybody to believe me. Go on over to Dave Hodges' page. He's got some of his reporting there. Go to anybody else's pages you use. They're gonna show you the same stuff. Yeah. You can say it's fear, but this is not fear. This is actual fact of stuff that's happening. So whatever you want to call it. Don't be afraid of the truth, ever, because it'll save your life. That's the only thing that will. Truth is the way. How's that go?
What's that?
Michael? Truth is the way. He's a lamp unto my feet, a light unto my path. There it is. Yeah. And that's what we have to do, is stay in truth and stay in love. That is one thing that God showed me in the hospital that has been taken from us in a modicum of ways. And it was done pretty much all through the church. And every time that we factioned off and got a new faction in a church, a new sect of religion, that was more like a fractional banking system. It just fractionalized the love that God gave us. It fractionalized the power that was in that love that God gave us. And it became smaller and smaller to the point where we don't believe we have that power and authority in us. Of course we do. And so love is what's going to take us through. Respecting each other, caring about each other, that's what's going to take us through. If we're able to keep in touch on here for a while longer, wonderful. If we're not, okay, we're going to be fine because we're in touch with Jesus on a daily basis. And that's where we have to be. There's no place other that I want to be. I don't want to be there. So yeah, I see people putting HARP and Bluebeam in. I did see today a picture that came out. I think it's not Bluebeam though. I think it was holographic. And it was beautiful, but I could tell that it wasn't real. So they are getting ready to show us some pictures. They are getting ready to show us some things. And unless we know the Word of God, we will get caught. So we need to stay in the Word and keep trying to do the right thing by God. I also, I want to look at that federal thing there.
What's that?
That thing I just sent you over on the federal government.
Oh.
Let me see if I can find that in here. It's on our page. Well, here's Mary Greeley. You could play hers first. Then pull up that federal government one below it.
Okay.
And then just, go into the Saudis and what they're doing. And they said if we revealed the 9/11 documents, then they would crash the dollar. And, of course, those documents were revealed. And now they're going to carry out their promise. And we just don't pay attention to people. We pretty much do what we want as Americans, and we think we're never going to pay consequence, but we are going to pay consequence.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah, we are going to pay. So all of these vids here are very, very well done vids that were done today. Call to Duty, she's really doing some good work today. And I see I did send you the stuff from Michelle from the Bunkerville, Nevada. Bunkerville had a 3.7 earthquake today.
Yeah, I seen that. Was that today or yesterday?
I think it's today.
Yeah, I seen that.
Well, I received this today anyway, yeah. 30 kilometers deep, okay. Now, in all the research that I've done, but I haven't done it for a year or two on HARP. But a year or two ago, HARP changed its depths that it would go down in the ground. That's if the HARP was working from the ground down. Changed its depths from 10 feet down to 29 feet. And I see this one's at 30 feet. So they might be using the ground HARP here, or it could be pinging from the satellites. It's very possible.
So
you got some of those ready to run, or?
Yep. Let me pull this up.
Okay, then I'm gonna get off because I'm about ready to lay down again.
Okay, and what I'll do is I'll just go down the list of the ones that you sent me today.
And discuss them. I mean, if you can get these guys to call in somehow, that would be wonderful, to get these guys to talk to each other, figure out what to do, how to help each other, what area is he in,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got to figure out why that site's doing that on me.
Maybe it got wet.
No, not the website. No, somehow it's not recognizing Skype when I push in the numbers. It's not hearing me push the numbers on Skype, so I don't know what that issue is.
Commodore Zoe, I didn't think there was HARP on them satellites either. But my friend, who's a major, and that's all I'll say, in NASA, tells me there is. So don't assume that we know everything. We don't. These snakes been up to some bad stuff. And don't forget we have CERN, who is also messing with us very highly with our magnetosphere. So don't assume that we know everything. We don't. Okay, guys, I'm going to talk to you again soon. God bless you all.
God bless you. I'm going to start playing those videos now. So.
Okay, all right. Bye-bye.
Bye, hun.